mig? Hör du mig? Do you hear me? Do you hear me? You hear me? You hear me? Jag kommer inte kunna se min Discord. Det så. Jag får kolla på din.
I've always been fascinated by the mind. So I'd set my heart on studying
Hello?
neuroscience
Kan jag inte
because
höra
I
för?
wanted to get inspiration from the brain for AI.
I remember asking Demis, what's the
Vad hör jag
end
inte
game?
för?
You know, so you're going to come here and you're going to study neuroscience and you're going to maybe get a PhD if you work hard.
What the fuck?
And he said, you know, I want to be able to solve intelligence.
Human brain is the only existence proof we have, perhaps in the entire universe, that general intelligence is possible at all.
Låt oss kolla på.
And I thought,
Let us see the thinking game full documentary. Let's go.
one in this building should be interested in general intelligence like I am. And then Shane's name popped up.
Our next speaker today is Shane Legg. He's from New Zealand, where he trained in math and classical ballet.
Are machines actually becoming more
Den kom
intelligent?
ut.
Some people say yes, some people...
It's come out for 2 days ago, so I think nobody has reacted to this. I think it'll be going big. It's like have 1 million views now, and they got two days now. And this like I don't know which channel this is, and it's not so much comments, like 900 comments, and people like liking everything. So let's go.
No, it's not
So
really
it's
clear.
I'm
We know they're getting
really
a lot
excited.
faster at doing computations, but are we actually going forwards in terms of general intelligence?
We were both obsessed with AGI, artificial general intelligence. So today I'm going to be talking about different approaches to building AGI.
With my colleague Demis Hassabis, we're looking at ways to bring in ideas from theoretical neuroscience.
I felt like we were the keepers of a secret that no one else knew. Shane and I knew no one in academia would be supportive of what we were doing. AI was almost an embarrassing word to use in academic circles, right? If you said you were working on AI, then you clearly weren't a serious
På
scientist.
riktigt?
So I convinced Shane
so
the right way
so
to do it
weird.
would be to start a company.
Really
Okay,
weird.
We're going to try to do artificial general intelligence. It may not even be possible. We're not quite sure how we're going to do it, but we have some ideas
Damn.
of the kind of approaches. Huge amounts of money, huge amounts of risk, lots and lots of compute. And if we pull this off, it'll be the biggest thing ever, right? That is a very hard thing for a typical investor to put their money on. It's almost like buying a lottery ticket.
I'm going to be speaking about systems neuroscience and how it might be used to help us build AGI. Finding initial funding for this was very hard. We're going to solve all of intelligence. You can imagine some of the looks I got when we were pitching that around.
So I'm a VC, and I look at about 700 to 1,000 projects a year, and I fund literally 1% of those, about eight projects a year.
På riktigt? Fan vad sjukt.
So that means 99% of the time you're in no mode.
Wait a minute, I'm telling you this is the most important thing of all time. I'm giving you all this build-up, how it connects with the brain, why the time's right now, and then you're asking me, but how are you going to make money? What's your product? It's like...
Det är någon inne.
A question, you know, have you not been listening to what I've been saying?
Är ljudet
We
bra
needed
eller?
investors who aren't necessarily going to invest because they think it's the best investment decision. They're partly going to invest because they just think it's really cool.
He's the Silicon Valley version of the man behind the curtain.
Hallå.
He had a lot to do with giving you PayPal, Facebook, YouTube, and yet.
If everyone says X, Peter Thiel suspects that the opposite of X is quite possibly true.
So Peter Thiel was our first big investor, but he
Peter Thiel.
insisted that we come to Silicon Valley because that was the only place there would be the talent and we could build that kind of company. But I was pretty adamant we should be in London because I think London's an amazing city. Plus, I knew there were really amazing people trained at Cambridge and Oxford and UCL in Silicon Valley. Everybody's founding a company every year, and then if it doesn't work, you chuck it and you start something new. That is not conducive to a long-term research challenge. So we were totally an outlier for him. All right, everyone, welcome to DeepMind. So what is our mission? We summarize it as DeepMind's mission is to build the world's first general learning machine. So we always stress the word general and learning here, the key things.
Our mission was to build an AGI, an artificial general intelligence. And so that means that we need a system which is general. It doesn't learn to do one specific thing. That's a really key part of human intelligence. We can learn to do many, many things.
It's going to, of course, be a lot of hard work, but one of the things that will keep me up at night
So
is
AI
not
funds,
waste this opportunity
AI
to,
like
really
AI
make a
have
difference
been
here and
like
have a big impact
I don't
on
know.
the world.
This is
The first people that came and joined DeepMind
2023.
already believed in the dream.
So
but
AI
this
have
was,
been
I think, one
there,
of the first
but
times
they want to do
found a
AGI.
place full of other dreamers.
We collected this Manhattan project, if you like, together to solve AI.
In the first 2 years, we were in total stealth mode, and so we couldn't say
So
to
AI
anyone what we were
fanns det
doing or where we worked. It was all quite vague.
It had no public presence at all. You couldn't look at a website. The office was at a secret location. When we would interview people in those early days, they would show up very nervously. I had at least one candidate who said, I just messaged my wife to tell her exactly where I'm going, just in case this turns out to be some kind of horrible scam and I'm going to get kidnapped.
Well, my favourite new person who's an investor is I've been working on for a year is Elon Musk. So for those who don't know, that's what he looks like. And he hadn't really thought much about AI till we chatted. His mission is to die on Mars or something, but not an impact.
Elon Musk,
We made
Elon Musk is
some
like
big
one of the
decisions about
investors.
how we were going to
That's
approach
crazy.
building AI. This is a reinforcement learning setup. This is the kind of setup that we think about when we say we're building, an AI agent. There's basically the agent, which is the AI.
That's crazy.
And then there's the environment that is interactive. We decided that games, as long as you're very disciplined about how you use them, are the perfect training ground for AI development.
We wanted to try to create one algorithm
Jag
that
ska bara
could
se om
be
jag kan
trained
göra
up.
klipp. I think we're gonna see if I can do a clip. Skitsamma.
By several dozen different Atari games. So just like a human, you have to use the same brain to play all the games.
You can think of it that you provide the agent with the cartridge and you say, okay, imagine you're born into that world with that cartridge and you just get to interact with the pixels and see the score. What can you do?
So what you're going to do is take your Q function, QK. Q learning is one of the oldest
Oh
methods
shit,
for
fucking
reinforcement learning.
matematikens morsa.
And what we did was combine reinforcement learning with deep learning within one system. No one had ever combined those two things together at scale to do anything impressive, and we needed to prove out this thesis.
We tried doing Pong as the first game. It seemed like the simplest.
It hasn't been told anything about what it's controlling or what it's supposed to do. All it knows is that score is good, and it has to learn what its controls do.
Oh
and build
shit.
everything sort of from first principles.
Oh fuck.
It wasn't really working.
I was just saying to Shane, maybe we're just wrong. And we can't even do Pong.
It was a bit nerve-wracking thinking how far we had to go if we were going to really build a generally intelligent system.
And it felt like it was time to give up and move on. And then suddenly, we got our first point.
Ja, den lär sig.
You know, and then it was like, is this random? No, it's really getting a point now.
It was really exciting that this thing that previously couldn't even figure out how to move a paddle had suddenly been able to totally get it right.
Then it was getting a few points, and then it won its first game. And then 3 months later, no human could beat it. You hadn't told it the rules, how to get the score, nothing. And you just tell it to maximize the score, and it goes away and does it. And this is the first time anyone had done this end-to-end learning.
Okay, so we have this working in quite a general way. Now let's try another game.
So then we tried Breakout. At the beginning, after 100 games, the agent is not very good. It's missing the ball most of the time, but it's starting to get the hang of the idea that the bat should go towards the ball. Now, after 300 games, it's about as good as any human can play this. We thought, well, that's pretty cool, but we left the system playing for another 200 games. And it did this amazing thing. It found the optimal strategy was to dig a tunnel around the side and put the ball around the back of the wall.
Finally, the agent is actually achieving what you thought it would achieve. That is a great feeling, right? Like, I mean, when we do research, that is the best we can hope for. We started generalizing to 50 games,
den lärde
and
sig.
we basically created a recipe.
Den
We
lärde
could
sig.
just take a game that we have never seen before.
Den
We
lärde
run the
sig.
algorithm on that, and the QM could train itself from scratch, achieving human level or sometimes better than human level.
We didn't build it to play any of them. We could just give it a bunch of games and it would figure it out for itself. And that, there was something quite magical in that.
Suddenly you had something that would respond and learn whatever situation it was parachuted into. And that was like a huge, huge breakthrough. It was, in many respects, the first example of any kind
Jag vill
of
lägga ut på
thing you could
TikTok
call a
att
general
jag,
intelligence.
Although we were a well-funded startup, holding us back was
jag
not
vill
enough
lägga ut på
compute
TikTok
power.
att jag är live på Twitch och
I
kollar
realized
på
that
en
this would accelerate our
dokumentation
timescales to
om
AGI massively.
I used to see Dennis
AI
quite
och
frequently. We'd have lunch, and he did
AGI, eller vad heter det?
say to me
Skulle
that
kunna
he
någon
had
så här,
two companies
generera
that
någon
were
bild eller något
involved
sånt
in
eller något
buying
så jag kan lägga ut på TikTok
and he
som
didn't
jag
know
kan
which
kolla
one
på
to go with.
och se att
The
jag är
issue
live på
was,
Twitch.
would any commercial company appreciate the real importance of the research and give the research time to come to fruition and not be breathing down their necks saying we want some kind of commercial benefit from this?
2014.
Google has bought DeepMind for a reported £400 million, making the artificial intelligence firm its largest European acquisition so far. The company was founded by 37-year-old entrepreneur Demis Hassabis.
After the acquisition, I started mentoring and spending time with Demis and just listening to him.
Vänta, var han en av de som gjorde, vet du
He's a scientist and a natural scientist. He wants science to solve every problem in the world, and he believes it can do so. That's not a normal person you find in a tech company.
We were able to not only join Google, but run independently in London, build our culture, which was optimized for breakthroughs, and not build products, do pure research. Our investors didn't want to sell, but we decided that this was the best thing for the mission. In many senses, we were underselling in terms of value before it more matured and you could have sold it for a lot more money. And the reason is because there's no time to waste.
Så han sålde det för så jävla lite pengar.
While the brain's still in gear, you know, I'm still alive. There's all these things that got to be done. So you haven't got. I mean, how many billions would you trade for another 5 years of life? You know, to do what you set out to do.
Okay, all of a sudden we've got this massive scale compute available to us. What can we do with that?
Jävlar.
Gemini,
heter det Gemini? Jag vet vad det heter.
It's the most complex game ever devised by man. There are more possible board configurations in the game of Go than there are atoms in the universe.
Go is the holy grail of artificial intelligence. For many years, people have looked at this game and they've thought, wow, this is just too hard. Everything we've ever tried in AI, it just falls over when you try the game of Go. And so that's why it feels like a real litmus test of